3D designer currently studying 3D design with a specialism in product at Plymouth University. So my real interest is kind of an ethnographical approach. I really like finding problems and creating products that help benefit people in their everyday lives. This term I looked at the idea of a journey. I wanted to choose an area of contention, and for me I looked at anxiety as the real issue. Then I played around with different ideas, and the area I settled on was anxious journeys to hospital, and from my research I actually settled on maternity waiting rooms specifically. From my research I learned so much which I didn't really expect. There are so many different types of women that are waiting in a maternity ward. It's not just a pregnant woman. And 1 in 6 known pregnancies end in miscarriage, and this number really stuck with me because you could be sitting there pregnant, having the best time of your life, and next to you could be a woman that's just lost her baby after 6 months. And that kind of contention was something I was really interested in. I wanted to help create a calming, relaxing environment for a variety of different women. The other statistic that really stuck with me was the average age of pregnancy is now rising. Women are no longer really having children in their 20s. The average age is now 32 to 34. As a designer, this is quite interesting because the way people interact with products and the way chairs are designed, these are things that need to be taken into consideration. Yes, while I was profiling women and actually looking at the types of women sitting in hospital waiting rooms, I identified 7 areas or 7 different types of women that I felt that could be really beneficial, and their requirements were completely different. I was looking at women with IVF treatment, miscarriages, abortions, women who are seasoned to having children. For me, identifying the different types of women was really interesting and quite surprising because I didn't realise the whole process that goes on in a maternity waiting room. So after identifying women, I started to profile different chairs, and I looked at designing 5 different chairs that would fit the 7 different women's needs. But what I realised I really needed to do was reconceptualise the space. And from that I drew out 3 different ideas, one being the benefit of nature in waiting rooms and how that impacts people and their mental set, how water improves mood, and how digital technology can improve the whole waiting experience. So I had the privilege this year at working at 2 events for London Craft Week in London. London Craft Week embraces craftsmanship and design, and it's an exhibition of 130 different workshops and displays of different artists' work. I worked on 2 different projects. I firstly worked at St Barnabas House on a project called Marvellous Mechanica. We were looking at designing a Rube Goldberg style ping pong run, was the gist, and then secondly I worked for Steinway & Son and Holland Corner magazine at Piano Craft. My contribution to Marvellous Mechanica my focus was creating a centrepiece hopper. The idea was that all balls would be targeted into this massive hopper, and equally the ping pong balls would feed from this to different stations in the chapel, and I created the centrepiece hopper, and I was also in a little sub-team where we looked at creating a blowing system that would blow ping pong balls up into a mini hopper on the church side and back down onto a catapult, which people could then fire back into the main hopper that I designed and made. I think personally for me, the highlight was getting recognised by the Craft Council for day 3 for our work for Marvellous Mechanical. They said it was a highlight of London Craft Week for them. And also Piano Craft became a highlight for London Craft Week on day 4. I also had the privilege of working with Holland Corner magazine on a photo shoot for the up and coming issue this summer, and the Telegraph put us in the highlight for London Craft Week in total. So all in all, it was a good success and great experience. I'm hoping to continue working on projects quite similar to this, looking at people and what makes them tick and areas I can really help improve their lives on. That's it. This is really pressuring. I don't like it. Never want to move from the camera.